So we have some more information as to why Sony hasn't announced exactly what they're feeling yet for the price of the next PlayStation 5, and that's because
it's expensive.
Well, it's really the console's sitting at $450 US to build this unit. So, in Canadian terms, that's $596. Man.
That's a $600 console before it reaches the retail stores.
Well, then you're talking about packaging, shipping, and all this other behind-the-scenes stuff. That's not just including the box, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's extras to go with all this stuff. What do we think we're going to have to pay for the next PlayStation? Thoughts?
Do you think it's going to be like a PS3 debacle where they came out and the initial launch price was just too high and people were just like, we're not paying for that? And then when they lowered the price later on, they started selling like hotcakes. And then, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. But we know with consoles is that when you're selling them at the store, you know, they may not even be making money on the console sales. They make the money on the games, the peripherals, everything that goes with the consoles where the big bucks get really made.
They take a loss at the beginning so that they can sell the console to make it up on the software later, right? And that's where they get all their money back. And that's the biggest thing and my biggest concern right now is how much of a loss are they willing to take?
Exactly.
If it's costing $600 to produce, are they looking for us to pay $700 for this console? Man, that is steep. A lot of Canadians are not going to go for this.
Taxes on top of that. Yeah, it's getting expensive now. We're getting into PC territory, and I don't know if that's gonna hold up next to a PC.
No.
You know what? We're getting there.
For
Consoles are more PC now than ever beforehand. But when it was the PS3, they produced their own cell chip, and that was the biggest problem when it came to Sony's platform on the PS3, was they did their own chip, and that really had hindrance on the developers making it, but it was also at a extra cost on the making the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So they're able to dwindle that down, but that goes as the generation proceeds along, right? So you see that now with the PS4, you see the price drop. Right now, PS4 Pro, $300, Steve just pointed out to us.
It's a pretty good deal.
That's a great deal, right? So they're also getting ramped up, ready to go into PlayStation 5. They're not going to go from $300. All they go, okay, brand new console, I want $800.
Yeah.
They took a huge loss on the PS3 with the feedback and all the fans. They don't want to do that again. I can't see them doing that all over again now that they've got such a mind share with the PS4.
Yeah. Well, they have to stay competitive with what Microsoft's going to do with the Xbox, right? We don't know a price point for the Xbox yet.
Nope.
So, you know, the fact that we already know some info about PlayStation is probably something they don't like, right? Because everybody wants to keep these consoles secret until the last minute, and then they give us all the info and everybody freaks out. But for me, I feel like there's no way they're going to go super high because they need to stay competitive. But again, like you touched on, how much of a loss are they willing to take? And how much of a loss is Microsoft willing to take? Because they may be taking a loss too. We don't know enough about that one to really know what that one's going to cost yet.
For me, it kind of really tails on the backwards cross compatibility, so to speak. Because with Xbox, they went out and said that all the games are going to be between both consoles. So is PS5, are they, like, if they're going to sell a really expensive console, they better not restrict you from not being able to play with your buddies who don't want to spend that money.
Well, then you got a little leak out of Ubisoft. You just announced that the next Rainbow game will be on next-gen consoles, and they're working for cross-platform and cross-play.
Everybody's
right?
doing it.
Everybody's switching into this whole momentum now of everybody can play with everybody. So what's Sony going to do then to kind of, because right now, where do you play Spider-Man? God of War. You have one console and one console only, right? Where Xbox is like, we have all these titles, and I don't care where you play, as long as it kind of says Xbox, but you can jump over here on PC, and then you can jump over there, and then you can jump in that pool. Where Sony's like, you come to us, right?
They're not as accessible.
They're not.
Not that they need to be.
No, because you sell 100 and some odd million units.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
They're not hurting, right? So it kind of makes you nervous as to what our next generation consoles are going to cost.
Yeah.
Sony, they're just notorious for having probably one of the best marketing crews out there. So I don't foresee a stumble here. It's all speculation. It's really hard to like put a number on it. Are they gonna really cut themselves? Sorry, everybody. Down to like 600, or are they gonna? I don't know, man.
And we're still talking 600.
That's still
like these are pennies here. It's a significant cost, but you know what? Sony and PlayStation have always carried that luxury brand over Xbox. You know what I mean? Xbox has been kind of that hardcore gamers platform, but that PlayStation's been that kind of luxury Sony name tagged onto it. So maybe there is going to be a luxury price tag. I mean, I don't know. I hope it's not super expensive, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Yeah. I don't know if the future is just around the corner. We can't wait to find out what happens next. Hit us up at insidethegame.ca and let us know what you think.